Hello, friends. Well, thank you for hanging out with us. I just wanted to say hello. I'm going to take my ugly mug off the stage, and so we have more room here. But I just wanted to say welcome to everyone, and to give us a little moment while we all get our bearings, because technology over the past few weeks has not been very, very cooperative. So send up a little prayer that it all goes well. If you see us maybe disappear from the screen and come back, that's just us trying to solve that problem. So no need to be alarmed. We'll all be right back. But welcome everybody today. Hello, girls. I'm gonna hide my face here, and we'll get us all four on board. How are you doing today, Miss Jonna?
I'm I'm doing awesome. I had a great morning in the house of the Lord, and the sun is shining. The storms went by. Didn't even have a branch down in my yard, so that's a total answer to prayer. And yeah, I'm excited about to see what the Lord's going to be speaking to each one of us here, and hopefully He'll speak to everyone who's watching. And I'm super excited to see Susan's in here, and Erlene, and Den Lee is in here, and Angela. I'm thankful you're in here. Let's see, Angela.
Yeah.
Hopes Crafts. Hello, just saying hi to everyone. Hey, I need to get. I have my magic mirror like romper room out,
There you
so
go.
I can tell you who I
Well,
see.
hello everybody. And Carol, what are you up to? Well, you had a busy day, so or yesterday you had a busy day. So you
Yeah.
recovered?
Yeah, I'm trying to recover. It definitely not a frustrating time, but very busy day. We had a birthday for a 3-year-old with lots of families and children here on the farm enjoying the goats and the playground, and it was a
Goats.
good day. But one party ran over into a second party. We had classmates from my husband's high school graduating class that the parties ended up overlapping. We had some families stay late, and we had other the classmates arrive early, and we had dinner with his classmates, his 40th high school reunion.
How fun.
It
Wow.
was a busy day on the farm yesterday.
I was just talking to some people in church this morning about they're getting goats. I'm like,
Oh,
goats
they're
are not
great.
my friend. Goats are not
Oh,
my friend. I like the baby goats though. They're really cute because they hop. I think they're so
Oh
cute.
yeah.
They
Baby
hop
goats
around.
are cute. And grown up goats, if they grow up with you and know you, are very much like having an outside only dog.
yeah, that's very, very true. I loved our goats very, very much.
Our
Well,
goats are very sweet and gentle.
Oh, that's good.
yeah.
They don't chase you with their horns.
They don't have horns,
Okay.
and no, they don't chase you because they think we're like they think I'm their mom, and so they love me to death because most of them were either bottle raised on the farm, or were brought on the farm very early and grew up with us. And so they very much they see me coming, and all they think is food and petting, and so they're very kind to me and the kids.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And to strangers.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're really great. And I think it's wild goats and neglected goats that are crazy.
Hmm.
But I mean, we get a bad rooster once in a while that's kind of aggressive, and they don't stay at all, So I imagine there's that opportunity for a wild hair goat that isn't kind. But I think partly it's just like with the dog, it's like what's their training, how have they been handled and cared for, right?
Well, I'll have to tell them that they need to like hold them
You just need to
and
cuddle
stuff.
them like a dog, Jonna, and then they'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Because I
for
had to
those
go
of
to their house twice a month, and really, I don't want to be darting from my car into the house.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
Trying to
no.
avoid
no.
being, yeah. I've had trauma with goats. Sorry. Can you
Yeah.
tell?
Well, and it's our poor Hazel has had some trauma with tech this morning. We've
Mhm.
like Angela said, we've all been having issue on StreamYard with the sound. And I know it kind of threw you for a loop a couple weeks ago on your heart to heart, Hazel. And now this, but we're standing with you. We're praying for you that your tech will stay working. And we're so happy that you're here to tell us your part today and lead us in this.
Awesome. And before we turn it over to Miss Hazel, tell us what you're up to in the chat. And it's been a month since we've done actually more than a month because we did the um,
Virtual.
virtual one last time. So, how's everybody doing? Catch us up. Let us know if there's anything that you need us to be thinking about or praying for. And, we're here for you. And then when Hazel's ready, we'll turn it over to you. She can tell you what she's been up to besides talking to all the technology gurus.
Um, okay. I still feel like crying, and it is, um, I can't, um, obviously my voice gives me away. So I will survive. I will take this in stride, and I understand that it has been um, a test of faith and a test of whatever. I felt so confident this morning, knowing that I had really, I think, prepared a meaningful session today. So I thought, and of course, there wasn't time to talk to the girls about anything this morning. God, I hope I'm not going to be sniffling the whole time. Sorry. Anyway, so they don't know that I'm doing this, but I just thought it was kind of strange that we're doing Bible journaling together, but yet we've never said an online prayer either to open or to close this thing. So I had printed a couple or three off the internet on the subject today, which is worry. And but I thought, well, I know my way around some words. Why don't I write my own? So if you would just join me. Dear Lord, we thank you for the gift of friendship and community gathered here through the miracle of technology. Okay, well, I take that part back. Through the fickleness of technology, we thank you for this opportunity to increase our understanding and deepen our relationship with you, no matter where in the journey we begin. Please bless and keep safe all those gathered here today. Help us to reflexively turn to you in times of worry. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So be it.
So I was thinking about the whole concept of worry, and it seemed to me that the default reaction would be, well, of course we're worried. Look around. Doesn't take much to figure that part out. But I then thought about it some more and suspect that no matter at what point in civilization people have lived, there have always been things to worry about. So I don't think that we're unique in that. And I don't, the only reason perhaps that it feels like there's more to worry about these days is because it's happening to us as opposed to people who are dealing with the Black Plague or, the time before penicillin or whatever point in history. So I think that what I want to, well, maybe I can give you a little bit of tell you what my intention was for the craft. I just got this piece of paper. It's scrapbooking paper. It was lying around. I picked it because I would be able to follow those lines and journal on it. But essentially, from the crafting perspective today, what I was hoping that we would create either an oversized bookmark or an oversized journaling card that we could move around in our Bibles that would address the whole thing about worry. And the verse that I chose is Philippians 4-6. I'll read that. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say rejoice. Let your reasonableness be known to everyone. The Lord is at hand. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your request be made known to God. So what I was thinking, again, for the craft aspect of it, is that we could use the time together to decorate our piece of paper. And I made this kind of like a hangover thing so I could, hook it on a page. Like so. It's probably almost too wide for this book. Anyway, that's what I was thinking, to decorate, but also allow time to write. So the thought process that I had, like some of you will know that I have really become very committed to reading a number of devotionals every morning. It's kind of a routine. I think my attendance record or my commitment record is good in that the only time I end up having to do it in the evening instead is when I need a very early getaway. So I wanted to, number one, share a couple of things out of some of these just to maybe set the tone, and also highly recommend this one. I bought it used at a Christian thrift store. It's by Sarah Young. It's called Jesus Calling. And you can tell, I don't know how, my screen looks so pixelated. I don't know how much you're seeing, but I can tell you based on the sheer number of post-its on the pages I've marked that this one above all, thanks. This one above all has been really meaningful or really speaks to me. I don't know, maybe, it would be different for different people. And then I noticed that at the back here, I guess this Sarah Young has written others. So this one is Jesus Calling. There is Jesus Today, Dear Jesus, and Jesus Lives. I would suspect that those are all just as good. Anyway, so there's that one. But specifically about worry, I wanted to read you the thing from this one called Everyday Comfort. And it's spiritual refreshment for women. It is not very big, and it's topic based as opposed to a daily thing. Worry. Jesus said, don't worry, your heavenly Father already knows all your needs. And that's from Matthew. Worry will steal your life if you let it. And yet there is nothing more than the anticipation of trouble that most likely will never come your way. It has no substance and no power except in your mind. God asks you to replace your worry with a firm trust in his love and concern for you. He knows all that is in your future, all of your needs, and he is committed to caring for you. Surrender your mind to God and don't give worry a second thought. Jesus said, give your entire attention to what God is doing right now and don't get worked up about what may or may not happen tomorrow. That's Matthew 6:34. God considers worry a negative commodity in your life because it takes the place of trust in his willingness and ability to take care of you. When worry visits your heart, banish it by reminding yourself how completely God has taken care of you in the past. List the blessings in your life today that shout of his protection and love, then entrust the future to this same God. See for yourself, you have nothing to worry about. So that list your blessings in your life today is obviously one of the ways that this oversized piece of paper could be used, by counting one's blessings and maybe, capturing on paper those days that we know that we can recall, or those times in our life when God has totally taken care of a worry that we might have. Proof positive, because I think sometimes it's easy to notice these little miracles, and begin taking them for granted rather than being aware that, hey, we need to notice and be grateful for. And then this is out of, it's called, it's a good morning just because you love me. Okay, so this one, and this was yesterday's reading of all things. Then Jesus said, let's go off by ourselves to a quiet place and rest a while. He said this because there are so many people coming and going that Jesus and his apostles didn't even have time to eat. That's Mark 6:31. Life, and I think what I like about a lot of these devotionals that I use, and one reason I don't like another one, is because it speaks in today's language. It's not archaic. It's not, so difficult to comprehend because of the words and the grammar and all of that. Anyway, this one says life gets crowded sometimes. It's not always easy to get away from the things that cause our anxiety. I'll add technology to this, but anyway, it says endless to-do lists, busy holidays, visits from family, work deadlines. Life gets hectic and stress builds up. Jesus shows us that there is a time and place for refreshing. Like the disciples, we can and should go off by ourselves to a quiet place and rest a while. When life's troubles begin to press in, take Jesus' advice. If only for half an hour, spend time in prayer, or read his word, or sing his praises. Acts of worship can bring the release from stress and anxiety that we so desperately need. Jesus, you know my anxieties. Show me a peaceful place and meet with me there. Calm my anxious heart and give me your quiet rest. So I think inadvertently there's another thing that could, again, be written on the card. And of course, that's a personal choice. But we can also use the card to record what has worked for us in the past. Does turning off distractions and the hubbub and getting quiet and praying and just listening to the silent voice within, has that been a way that we have gotten beyond some worrying that is, threatens to overtake us? So, sorry, Bianca. I think you're asking about this last one. It's called It's a Good Morning, Just Because You Love Me. So again, my hope is that as we decorate these cards, that we either choose to use the space to, as I said, itemize some of the blessings, or maybe write down some reminders and some strategies of what we could what we could try the next time we feel a little bit of overwhelm. And maybe I will stop and catch a breath. I do have, more to say about a long ago issue that I had with worrying, but maybe it's time for a change of voice here.
I kind of want to hear your story.
Oh, well, I've always been a Christian, but clearly more practicing at some points in my life than others. There was a time long ago when, well, I've always been a busy person, and our community had a Chamber of Commerce, believe it or not. And I, kind of believe in community involvement. And I got involved as a secretary, and I was writing a column for the newspaper regarding, commerce, a Chamber of Commerce, goings on and so on. Anyway, it was that time in the year, right around graduation, high school graduation. Anyway, and, also had a business in town, and so interested, of course, in the well-being of the community from that point. Long story short, the town wakes up one morning to see that a number of businesses had been vandalized. Usual graffiti kind of thing was going on. And I was young. I was smug. I thought that if a person took a public stand against graffiti, how could anyone argue with that? How could anyone defend that behavior? How could? Well, I quickly learned that in a small town, even if somebody is acting like a total nitwit or a criminal or a vandal or whatever, that person is also somebody's child, grandchild, whatever. So there was a very public backlash to what I had written. And again, I was young. I was perhaps 30 years old, so not a great deal of life experience. And I thought to myself, I'm under attack. And in a small town, it's easy to be a big fish in a small pond. And I imagine everybody knows what that means. So I was a person that was known. I was a person that was well respected and so on. But yet, there was some, letters to the editor. At that time, there was a very vocal and kind of provocateur kind of guy who had a radio program out of Edmonton. Anyway, next thing I know, I get a call from the RCMP, and they didn't have any objection to this. Obviously, they were investigating who the culprits were. But then I heard through the grapevine that somebody had reached out to this guy, and he was going to dedicate one of his radio talks to it. And oh my goodness, I was a wreck. Nobody wants to be getting that sort of attention. And about the same time, I had to leave town because I was going to a summer program at one of the colleges in southern Alberta. So of course, I didn't pack a Bible, but what I did pack was Dale Carnegie's How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. And, that book, like that man, I had to look this up, but that man died in 1955. So he's been gone a long time. I think he might have written that book in he was born in 1888. I think he wrote that book in the 1940s. And I'll tell you, I read the book, and it brought me some comfort. And as much as I have forget things from, day to day, there are some things that once you hear them forever. And the thing that the practical, so I guess in a sense, we could say that me finding the right book to read at the right time was also a gift from above. Because essentially what he said is that 90% of the things we worry about never materialize. So that's a really good stat to remember when we feel overwhelmed. So, like most other things in life, the hubbub and all the angst and everything eventually faded. I think one of the things I learned from that is to be aware that even if a person feels that their position is justified, I don't know anyone who's pro graffiti or vandalism, but anyway, even if a person is justified, we have to understand that anytime we dare to, well, I guess it boiled, even to take it a step further back, it is acting in judgment of someone else's behavior. I didn't see that at the time, but I understand that now. And it's the criticism, like, I don't know, I guess just a more refined sense of what a person can or should say, at the risk of hurting someone else. Those are some of the takeaways. Again, I just find it incredible that Dale Carnegie's books, the other one that he's really famous for is How to Win Friends and Influence People, continues to be a bestseller this many years later, decades later. Anyway, so I consider that one of those pivotal books in my life. And, I think if we're open to it, we can also learn from every experience that we go through. Anytime I have been in the public eye or getting, media attention or the face of, on camera interviews or whatever, it's all been it's been a good news story since that time. So anyway, I guess that I just wanted to say that whatever people are dealing with today, whether it's health issues, economic issues, concern about the, global world peace, concern about politics, concern about the neighbor next door, concern about one's own employment, affordability, whatever it is, I think that maybe the first place to turn is the Bible, as well as some of those other practical paradigm shifts in one's thinking, rather than getting into a spiral of a downward spiral. I will also say, again, based on personal experience, that sometimes excessive worry / rumination is a mental health issue. I would consider myself as having been a worrier of the first order. And it was only very late in my life, only within the last 10 years or so, that I discovered that not everybody thinks that way, and that there is a chemical and physiological reason that some of us tend to worry more than others. And there is absolutely no shame in hearing that diagnosis and getting pharmaceutical help to alter it. And the analogy I make is that if you were diabetic, you wouldn't say, "Oh no, I can't possibly take insulin." It would show me to be a weak person. The same thing is true with things going on in our heads. And in my case, it has to do with the uptake or the amount of time that my body hangs on to the feel-good hormone, which is serotonin. So a very small dosage has made a life-altering change in my life. So I think that prayer, reading good materials, counting blessings, getting medical help, pharmaceutical help if we need it, doing perhaps behavioral changes, all of that working in concert can make our lives so much more bearable, or maybe bearable is the word. Enjoyable,
Mhm. Yeah.
pleasant. Anyway,
Less stressful.
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't hear that.
I said, and
She
less
said,
stressful. So then you don't need to
Well,
worry.
yes.
yeah. I've had somebody very close to me recently diagnosed with OCD, and I think it's something that she suffered with most of her life, but a recent change in her job situation just blew it to greater proportions. And I'm uh, hearing you say some people worry more than others, and then there's that extreme, like, I hear on YouTube, I hear people say, "Well, I'm OCD, so like I have to cut this straight, or I have to have my thing aligned perfectly, or I have to ink everything," or whatever their thing is that they attach to that, saying, kind of jokingly saying they're OCD. And I have had through this situation with somebody close to me, I have learned to stop saying that, because people who have extreme levels of OCD, um, while there is a component of ordering things, it is ordering things and keeping things neat is a
But
way to try and combat the battle that's going on in their minds. And they have the most irrational, worrisome fears that they logically tell themselves, um, I would never do what my brain is thinking, but they're fearful they might, because because of the worry. And so it's this cyclical thing. Um, the person that I'm talking about, who I won't name, has a friend that also has OCD, and I'll give one example. Her friend does not own any kitchen knives because her perseverative fear is that if she has a knife in the house, she may stab somebody. She's never had any violence. She's never, displayed any violence. In her logical brain, she says, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't have that tendency. But her brain tells her she will. And so she does perseverative, like, counting and organizing things to try and get that thought out of her brain. So that's like the most extreme mental health worry diagnosis you can possibly get. And I just I don't know why you talking about that and getting help. There's definitely therapies around that, but it's not the chat counseling kind of therapy that works for that. I sometimes I'm like, why am I sharing this story? But I have faith that if this is coming to mind, that somebody might need to hear, either like me feeling like I'm getting a benefit of an education to where I stop flippantly using that term as a funny, sarcastic thing, because there's real people out there hurting with the actual diagnosis, and they're not just nitpicky crafters. and 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 it helps us to be more sensitive to people who are going through that. And then there's also people who maybe they're not aware that when they're thinking these thoughts over and over and being very hard on themselves, that they don't realize that they need help. And so I just, when I say something like this, I just pray that the right person who needs to hear it takes it to heart and is blessed by it. And thanks for being open and honest and sharing that about your walk with worry. For me, uh, I I see a tendency with that a little bit too, and um, I used to lay awake at night with worry, and it wouldn't be rational either. And I think it was, for me, it was one of the symptoms, an anxiety symptom when I first started going through menopause. And I have story after story after story of faithfulness of God doing big miraculous things in our life and doing little miracle-y things every week. One of my favorite stories to tell is we ran a family group ministry, and 6 months out of the year, from May 1st to October 31st, we were outside for the ministry. And of course, there's rain, right? And how do you feed 100 people and teach a lesson and sing together and pray together when you have 100 people in the rain? And my most favorite thing to tell people is that for 10 years we did this ministry outside, May 1st to October 31st, and it never rained after 6 o'clock on a Friday night, not once in 10 years. And God actually was so faithful in that we got very bold about proclaiming it. And he would continue to be faithful. We'd have people call us at 5 o'clock because it was still raining and saying, what are you going to do? Are we moving indoors somewhere? Is there somewhere else we can go? And we're like, it's not going to rain after 6. And it didn't for 10 years. And when I'm feeling worried, I go back to that story and I go, he's faithful. I'm not always faithful, but he is always faithful. And I could tell you 100 other things, but um, I'll share the stage. But uh, find those things in your memory where God put favor on you, where he aligned things to go well. Even when he pulls it out in the last minute, or like today, 10 minutes late, we still are here with people um we adore, and we get to do this and talk to all of you, and we really appreciate you being here. He is faithful, and every recollection of his faithfulness builds our faith.
Yeah, very well
Thanks,
said.
Carol.
Thank you, Carol. I was reading. I read a little bit further, and it's one of my favorite parts of what Hazel was reading in Philippians 4, where she started in 6. But if you continue going on, because at the end of 6 is one of those, what's that called, where it's a dot and the comma underneath it, semicolon. So that means you have to keep going because it's only one thought. So it's only half of a thought, but it says, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Finally, comma, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there's any virtue, if there's anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. And I think that's kind of what you're saying, Hazel, is to make yourself a list inside this bookmark where you can go to, and Carol also, like
Yeah.
giving yourself those touchstones, right? So when you're in a circumstance, sometimes you're so in over your head that you cannot think straight. You can't think of that stuff, right? Because you're so overwhelmed by your circumstance. But to be able to come back to something, have a touchstone where you can come back to God's faithfulness in your life. He's been faithful in my life, truly. I can't even tell you. We don't have enough time to even ever discuss what he has done in my life. But what's interesting is I was reading the study notes in this, and it was talking about supplication, because up here it says, "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your request be made known to God." That's verse 6. Well, supplication there is more than just petitioning. So it's more than just asking, but suggests an intensity of earnestness in extended prayer, not to gain merit by many words, but to faithfully transfer the burden of one's soul into God's hands. Prayer and peace are closely connected. One who entrusts cares to Christ instead of fretting over them will experience the peace of God to guard him from the nagging anxiety. So I love that. It's a lot easier to read it than to live it. Um, but the fact that, when I love that picture of where he says, if you can just visualize that, but to fully transfer the burden of one's soul into God's hands, like take it off of yourself, right? Don't carry that burden. It was kind of like what I was talking about in Matthew several months ago, where like Jesus carries the burden, like, and we put on his burden when he says that my yoke is easy, my burden's light. So there's actually like this exchange, like a kingdom transfer. So we actually pray and say, okay, God, this is where I'm at right now, and this is too much for me to carry. I can't. So we put it into your hands. I'm putting it into your hands. You deal with this. And the kingdom exchange is that, according to what this says up in 7, is that then we'll have the peace that surpasses all understanding. So they're the peace of God. And the peace of God is knowing that he's bigger than any circumstance. And I was reading in Matthew when Hazel was talking, and it reminded me of Matthew 6, 6:26 through 30. I'm reading in the NIV version. I'm really a new King James girl, but this came up in the New International Version. It says, "Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? And why do you worry about clothing? See how the flowers of the field grow? They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon, who was King Solomon, in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you?" And then he goes on and admonishes them and says, "You of little faith." And so I think in circumstances too, we need to stretch our faith. God is giving us a circumstance so we can stretch our faith. It's all a faith walk. It's faith in who Christ is, faith in Christ, the words of Christ, faith in God's word, faith in who God says he is, and he's going to do what he says he's going to do. And yeah, it's all just a big faith walk, and we're all on, like I always like to say, we're all on different journeys, but we're all on the same path. And so anyway, yeah, that's all I have to say. So
Thanks, Jonah.
welcome, hon. Okay, I don't know if I'm doing my bookmark right. Do we have directions in this bookmark thing? I've just been kind of making my doing doing my own thing over here.
I'm doing my own thing too.
Okay. I came with my piece of paper, so this is mine so far. I did your.
Hazel gave their rules are there are no rules in this one kind of permission.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. So I just took a 6x8 piece of paper and I just folded it in half because on the inside of here, I wrote down scripture. I'm gonna write some more scriptures down in here that I can go to, and then it says. So I had the sticker. It says, "Your grace is enough." And I always have to remember that he's going to give me the grace to get through every situation. And I just have to remember that his grace is sufficient. It's going to get me through any situation. And then I just have to remind myself that it's enough. It's enough. I don't have to do anything. I just have to be obedient to hearing what he's telling me to do in the situation, and then to like do that kingdom transfer of giving it over to him and accepting his peace in the situation, and that knowing that he's faithful. And then I had a little sticker, a little chipboard piece that says one day at a time. And that's how we have to go through things. Sometimes it's a minute, sometimes it's an hour at a time, sometimes it's a minute at a time. You only have enough to get through that next minute, depending on what you're going through. But you have to trust and know that he's going to get you through it. And there's a purpose. There's always a purpose for you going through things. And stretching you and developing your character and developing your faith in who he is, and letting him show himself faithful to you. And so anyway, it's just a good reminder. So I'm enjoying this. This is fun. So I put layered some other little pieces, and I put some enamel dots on there. And of course, you know me, I have to add my little pattern girl.
Cute. Yeah, let me get us all back on here. Well, I finished my bookmark and I moved on to making some doodle flowers with these cute stickers that I have. But I wrote down Proverbs 12:25 because I love this verse, and it's worry weighs down the heart, or you could say anxiety if you wish. But a kind word cheers it up. Proverbs 12:25. Very simple. And then I used one of my doodle flowers, and then that led me to totally squirreling over to making doodle flowers over here. So I went over to get something to put on my top, so it could stick out and I could stick it in here. And then I found my doodle book and then my paints, and I kind of got sidetracked. How about you, Miss Carol?
I had just this piece of cardstock with some like a painty background, and I still have things on my desk from Give a Scrap. So I grabbed some of my fabric and started putting that down, and I've got some music paper here, and I have this little sparrow. I think he's just been sitting here, and I think of the song, and his eyes on the sparrow. Yeah. And so he's watching over me. And I think I wrote, his faithfulness remembered strengthens my faith, because that's what I was just talking about. And recalling those good memories, those moments of only God could have made that happen,
Right.
really, really does strengthen my faith. So I just kind of wrote that on there, and my little sparrow will make me think about that song a little bit. And I'm not sure where he's going to go on here. I'm going to put some of this music paper on first. And like I said, we had a very, very busy day yesterday, and I just am so grateful for this time with you guys. I think more than anything today, I needed to, show up and be faithful to this. And I appreciate you all showing up and being faithful to this, because I just needed time to hear Hazel's testimony, Jonna's testimony, be able to share some of my own today, and just come to a place of peace and remembrance, and just enjoy this time, because It was crazy yesterday. My brain's a little frazzled. So it was crazy fun, but it was still crazy.
Aw. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I looked forward to this all day for sure. And that's all I'll
I
say.
I think that it's kind of crazy that we're all gonna be sitting together face to face so shortly from now.
I
I
know. Isn't that
know, a month. I can't wait. Like, I'm like a
that's
kid.
wild?
Isn't that crazy?
It
Yeah,
is
and then in
crazy.
October we have, and probably some of you who are on here that are going to be sitting with us too. So just crafting, chatting, shopping, eating, drinking, having a great time.
Yeah, we're so looking forward to that.
We are.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. Two of my really good friends, or well, best friends that I worked with when I was at Nationwide, we get together once a month, and um, Friday we went to spend. I'd had a rough, it was just kind of a rough week. Um, and we went to Pella, which is where they have the Tulip Festival.
Ooh.
And it's just this beautiful, quaint little town, and how many they've already planted over 300 bulbs, 300,000 bulbs, and
What?
then they
That's
yes,
crazy.
isn't it? And then they'll pull them all because I think it's still a couple weeks until the festival, maybe in first part of May, and they'll replant. But anyway, it was just one of those, you think about, oh, it's great. You're going to get together with your friends. It's going to be fun. But sometimes, like, that is just some laughter, some, just spending time with people, whether you don't have to really know them that well just to be able to kind of escape a little bit from all the harder things that they're not going away. They'll be there. But just to kind of rejoice in that time that, um, we've been given to have those kind of relationships. And I kept thinking, "Oh, this is exactly what's going to happen when we get together in May and in October. Like, and, building new friendships and all of that things. It was just a quaint little cute town. And, I just kind of made me think about upcoming fun.
That's for sure. And Jonna
We
teasing us
haven't,
with
like,
her.
of course, we have.
What happened?
Uh-oh. Did she
We
freeze?
Oh,
Oh,
no,
there she is.
just trying not to talk over you, probably.
we have a meeting tomorrow to talk about the retreat. But last, what I'm still, the last information that I'm aware of is that we still have 2 spots to fill, right?
That's correct.
Carol, you're breaking up. Did you say yes?
Yeah,
Okay.
she said yes.
So yeah, people still have a chance to hop on board. And if we want to talk about a worry, I have my trip to New Brunswick, and then I have my trip to Georgia. One of the things to worry about is when you're going to a slumber party, you better get some new pajamas.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I have to get new pajamas.
Most important part, girl.
Where do you get cute pajamas?
Well, you don't want to take. You don't want to take. I mean, I don't want to pack my ratty old comfortable stuff. So, yeah, I've been trying to do a bit of shopping for my trip.
Uh-oh, I better go
Although
get some
I think
pajamas.
we've
gonna be
all kind of decided that wardrobe is going to be secondary to leaving space for thrifted items.
Well, right.
Yes.
And I thought we already gave you the recommendation to wear your crappiest clothes, leave them behind, and donate them, and then there you go. You'll have plenty more room for your stuff. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, I saw that. I ignored it.
I
I
know.
saw,
I
I
noticed
saw you ignored it.
Yeah, I had a friend
We
who traveled to internationally, like really often. Just she also had non-rev abilities like I did to travel, and that's exactly what she did. She packed a backpack, and then she donated all of her clothes except with what she was wearing home. Amazing.
I do that when I go on mission trips.
my
Yeah.
my most comfortable clothes probably would end up in a rag bag, not on the store shelf. I have my farm uniform that I wear every day in my studio.
Nice. Is it overalls? Because I love a good pair of bibs.
No.
I don't like overalls because you have to take the whole thing off in order to go to the bathroom.
Well, there is that. That is kind of a pain, but But I
Yeah,
think
do you
they're
guys
that was
remember
very practical.
when jumpsuits had that moment?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, rompers are still in, girls. I just can't.
I'm too tall. They all give me a wedgie.
That's funny.
I don't have that problem. Hey, Sierra.
Oh, Sierra's in
Oh,
there.
and
Hi,
did we
Sierra.
say, I don't think we said hello to Carol from My Quiet Corner. I saw her
yeah.
name way back.
Yes, she said she
And
is organizing and cleaning today.
and I'm sorry, but I don't know who storekeeper's daughter is.
That's
Den
Den
Lee.
Lee.
That's who?
Den Lee. Denlee. Isn't that a pretty name?
Mm-hmm.
Den Lee, by the way, how are you doing, girl?
And Gardens and Books is here.
Yeah.
That's
Your
Naomi.
neighbor. She's
She's
your
a Canadian.
friend.
Oh, Gardens and Books is Canadian?
Yes. I can't remember exactly what. I don't feel like she's on your side of the country, but maybe I'm wrong.
Country.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Anyway, glad to have all of you ladies here today. Even if it was a delayed, tearful start.
Hey, you know what? This is a safe place for us to all be vulnerable. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
we all have our moments.
Naomi's in Medicine Hat, Alberta.
Medicine Hat. That's cool.
Is that close to you, Hazel?
Say what?
Uh-oh.
Is
Have you heard of Medicine Hat, Alberta?
Well, yes, it's in Alberta, southern Alberta.
That's where Naomi is.
Why? Who's in Medicine? Who? Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, well, that's hello,
is that
neighbor.
far? How far is that?
It would be probably 5 hours or so.
Which
Oh,
is a
that's far.
hop, skip, and a jump in Canada, I'm telling you.
Exactly.
Wow. Everything's far.
Mm-hmm.
I was I can't remember when I said that. It might have been in the Heart to Heart or in the Craft or the Mixed Media Live. But anyway, I was talking to somebody about another Memphis area person. And neither Christina nor I could think of who it was. Well, it turns out it's Peg from Craft Room Stories, because she had
Oh.
commented on one of my videos Okay, Christina had commented on a video, and then Peg mentioned that she's lives nearby. So I just very, without consultation or permission, suggested that maybe she wants to join our little get together when Carol and I get down there to see Jonna. And well, it turns out that she's 5 hours away, so she won't be joining us. But
Yeah, I was gonna
Aw.
say
just kind of
I didn't know
thought,
she was that close.
She's in
Marier,
Oklahoma.
I just
Yeah.
thought more the merrier.
Yeah. No,
When
really. If anybody, sorry, my garage door is being very loud. If anybody, I mean, I think it would be great if there's other people around. It's not exclusive.
Well,
Yeah.
just so you know, things might be falling apart a little bit, and I might be there with you. I don't know yet,
Is it
but I
falling
mean,
apart in a good way?
but in a good way. I meant
Oh Lordy.
falling apart on Dave's end.
Oh,
You don't have to worry about like if I do, we don't need to. Let's not worry about it because we just been talking about worry.
Who's worrying?
nobody's
No.
worrying.
I know. Well, I don't want to.
I got an air mattress.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm like, the floor is fine. I don't know for sure, but after our little trip to Mississippi, where Dave ended up missing like 3 or 4 days of work, he's like, I don't know if I can go in May. So I'm like, well, I'll miss you, but it'll be okay. Love
Sierra,
you.
You just have fear of missing out,
Sierra,
Angela.
we are
Let's
visiting
just tell the truth.
Jonna
Yeah.
at the end of the month.
We're going to do reconnaissance missions for the retreat in October.
We may never even make it over to Georgia.
There's a chance, huh? Well, listen, if I don't come early, you gotta go. I mean, because I'll be sitting there by myself. We're like, hey, where are these girls at?
We'll be going.
I'm having so much fun decorating that I'm not leaving a room to write. I think I better quit.
I just left the whole back of mine up. I thought, well, that'd be fun.
I've been working in my notebook now.
I'm just doodling pretty flat. I love these stickers. I wasn't expecting to use them in this way, but I'm just making a big old mess.
Oh goodness, now my printer's having a mind of its own. Sorry if you hear that.
This is what I do when I'm on the road and
On the road again.
do. This is where I did my Bible journaling from last time when I was in Mississippi.
Oh,
Where is that? Let me see. I think I posted it on my. Hold, please. It's somewhere in
Oh,
here.
thanks, Sierra. I missed that. I love a good hexagon moment. Just say. Love me some hexies. Except I need my little star.
Oh, come on, I can't be that far away. Oh, there it is. There's one. I did 2 in that time that we were on our virtual Bible journaling. There's the other one.
that's fun.
It was fun. Those probably need to be somewhere, not just stuck in this thing. Probably should do something fun with them.
Oh, I love that, Arlene. She's making a list of counter worry verses on the back of her.
Oh, that's
her
a good
bookmark.
idea.
Yay.
I think that's a great idea. I love my Bible that I use often, not my art Bible, but I love that it has the whole, and I'm sure many of yours do, the whole section of, okay, what's your problem? And it's all in the back, and then you're like, okay, now I can go and I can reference all of these different verses, and it makes me feel so much better. Like I don't have to rely on remembering, like, okay, what was that verse that it was about? insert topic here, or I can just look it up because I'm not really good about, recall on my verses, as you guys well know. But so I love that about my Bible, and that's a great idea, Arlene.
I think that, for today, I chose the word worry, but I think probably the first cousin or the sibling of that is fear.
Mhm.
And of course, anxiety is another worry. So, it just seems that there are so many references in the Bible and in these devotionals to strategies for dealing with that. With any of those iterations. Be still and know that I am God.
Mhm.
A note that I made again in this Jesus Calling. I can't tell you how I like this little book. Fear often manifests itself in excessive planning.
Huh.
I always prided myself on being a big planner.
So, in other words, we're just supposed to wing it.
It almost, well, yeah, it almost seems that way, because it is kind of wild to think that anything that we might plan for the day has much bearing on how it actually turns out.
For sure.
Who among us haven't had our best laid plans thrown overboard because the good Lord had something else in mind for us?
Yeah. I mean, for those of you who work outside the home, one of the things that I always did when I drive into downtown was plan my entire day, and dang, it was good. Like by the time I got to work, I would had my whole agenda. I knew exactly what I was doing in my mind. It was wonderful. And I walked through those doors and boom, it was out the window. I'm like, why do I do this to myself every day? it sounded good in my head, but it is true that exactly what Hazel said.
Sometimes making a list gets it out of your mind and you sleep better,
Yeah.
Even if you don't ever accomplish it, I always feel good that I got it out of my thoughts and I sleep a lot better.
I think
That's true.
That's a huge coping mechanism for me, and the worry and the anxiety and the overwhelm of doing things like 3 different times and still not feeling like I made progress is writing things down, Jonna, because then I can prioritize, right? And even if I don't get to it, I give myself permission that, okay, just because you had all of this on your plate today, is the world going to end because you didn't get this done? And finding a way to get right with that. And I don't know, maybe that's not so much worry as I think mine would probably be like anxiety, like, oh my gosh, I got to get this done. And
right.
So that's a good practice, is to write things. I love writing things down just because I love checking things off.
Me too.
I write things down that you do too. I know you do this because we've talked about it, but yep, if I do something and it's not on my list, I'm writing that baby down, and
I do that.
giving myself credit.
Me too. Not that anybody sees it but me, but it makes me
Right.
feel better. Like, okay, you're not just wasting your day. Yeah,
Right.
it may have gotten a little off track and that wasn't on your list to do, but look at you. You got something done.
You got it done. I know. See?
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, I just feel like I just conquered the world by putting that line through that thing that I just wrote down.
Exactly.
I think
I have no intention of, stopping using a planner or making lists. It's just that sometimes it's and again, I hate to be a broken record about this course that I'm taking, but honestly, I have had to switch horses in midstream so often just to get some distance from what I could not proceed with. And I'm thinking, okay, so you want me to get up and move away from my desk. You want me to go outside because it was one of those days where we didn't have any snow. Okay, you want me to go and make lunch because, I think the part about beating one's head against the wall is that it feels so good when you stop. And sometimes, like, I just find that I am taking my cues a little more. I'm being more receptive to the cues that, okay, you're not supposed to be working on this right now because it's not working. So I take up another task and do have success with it. And then, sometimes later circle back to what had originally been holding me back. And I think that has probably always been a present in my life, but I just didn't know it. So continued to try to force a square peg into a round hole. Continued to, get frustrated, whether it's with technology or anything mechanical that isn't performing as it should be, rather than, turning it over and letting the solution come from, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is I keep praying for understanding and awareness and the ability to recognize the help and the cues and the nudges, regardless who they are coming from. So I don't know. It's definitely a journey. Definitely a journey.
I think one of the things that has impacted me about accepting or relying on God ordering my steps is delays. Like, I would be somebody who would have my plan for the day, and then when I would get delayed because of traffic, or uh you're traveling and your plane is late, or you miss you miss something by a minute or something, and then your whole day is delayed. um I have started telling myself I wasn't supposed to be there yet. I wasn't supposed to. I am where I'm supposed to be, and I'm in a holding pattern because if I was somewhere else right now, I could possibly have way more trouble. So I'm relying on God to his protection, and his timing is perfect. So when I get delayed, wasn't supposed to be in front of that car that blew the red light, or I don't know for sure what all those things might have been, but that's kind of how I calm myself and don't get frustrated by delays now, is I have that dialogue going in my head.
Yeah, that's really smart. I'm not sure. Like, I just thought about one because it's so recent, but when Dave and I got delayed, and well, of course, I probably really wasn't that worried about it because I was somewhere sitting by the pool and relaxing in the nice warm weather when it was cold in Iowa, right? But I did say to Dave, I'm like, this is, and he was the same way for whatever reason. Like, we were just like, well, he was like that for the first few days. Then after that, he was like, okay, I got to go home. But just, and for him, very out of character to like not be like, okay, we got to figure this out, and just to maybe just embrace the relaxation of maybe we just needed that. I mean, we've been going 150 miles an hour. Maybe that was just God's way to say, hey, I'm giving you a little bit of extra vacation, friends, like,
Yeah.
embrace it. Hey,
Hi,
Pam.
Pam.
How are you? What are you up to? I haven't seen Pam for a long time. She's probably been busy, girl.
Just to circle back to what Carol said, I remember once being in an audience of people listening to personal development type speaker. Don't remember which guy it was exactly, but anyway, he talked about spiritual flat tires, and he told it in the context of I guess he was flying, he was, heading to the airport. And you know what an angst filled trip that usually is, because we're always so afraid of missing a plane and, that kind of thing. Anyway, he had a literal flat tire on the way to the airport, which of course made him late, made him miss his flight. But something bad happened on that flight. I don't remember the details of what it was. And ever since then, I guess he sort of uses that as an analogy for, sometimes when those obstacles, like Carol was talking about, arise and our plans get waylaid, it's because we've had a spiritual flat tire and we are stuck where we are for some reason that may or may not be apparent until maybe much later. But so I kind of like that thought.
Yeah, I think that's really
great.
I am a firm believer in that kind of thing. Like, okay, if something's going on, it's because God does not want me to be in this place at this time. I'm just going to trust him,
Well, and maybe God was setting it up so you can come to Mississippi early.
Maybe that's
Exactly.
it. There you go.
You did say you wanted to be my neighbor, so
I did.
You just missed out on a house. I missed out on a house out here. There's one just that came up. Actually, it came up on foreclosure, and the people who bought it, my neighbors, they got a really good deal on it.
Wow.
But,
here's something to be. No, gosh. Yes, I can say this. God, you got my back. I just found out today that the house that we had staged, and the last one that we had staged, they sold it. So thank the Lord. So now I do not have the burden of having to worry about where am I going to get enough furniture to stage the next house that we have probably next month to do. So that was my big amen. Hallelujah moment today. I was like, right before we got on the phone, I just found that out. Or I mean,
Yay.
Yay.
So we've been saying lots of prayers about that. Because I mean, there's only so many beds I can come up with. I mean, pretty soon nobody's gonna have a bed in my house, and we're all gonna, it's gonna look pretty in this other house, but we're all gonna be sleeping on those air mattresses, Donna.
Hey, I had to do that for almost a year, so there's that.
Yeah. It wouldn't bother me, but my children, maybe a little bit.
Tam said she's been Bible journaling through Esther.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, the story of Esther got more twists and turns.
It's
really
probably one
good.
of the most interesting books of the Bible, in my opinion.
I love it. It's all about Jesus.
Yeah.
Kingsman Redeemer. All about Jesus.
I just really get these little.
Hi, Carolyn Ramirez. Welcome.
Hey, Carolyn, how are you? We're just hanging out. We were making some bookmarks, talking about worrying and worry notting. We will worry not.
Donna, Hope's asking about your ankle. Tell her your news.
Oh, I'm healed, Hope. The Lord healed me, even though Carol was like, Donna. No. So 2 weeks, you were like, Donna, do you have to rehab? I'm like, no, like, what part of God healed me do you not understand? So I know you were just
The
being
doctor, the
my
medical
caring
girl is
friend.
like, okay, she's watching out for you there.
Exactly. So 2 weeks after it happened, like I was in a boot and two doctors had looked at my ankle and it said it was a fracture and my foot was the size of a cantaloupe and I was in so much pain and all this stuff. And so about I was supposed to go back to the doctor in 2 weeks and then back to the ortho. And I just felt in that the Lord was kind of laying it on my heart to go back in 3 weeks, go the third week. I was like, okay. So I canceled my appointment, made it the third week, showed up. It was the day before my birthday. And went in and the doctor came in and he's like, so tell me what's going on. And I said, I told him how it happened, blah blah blah, because he was another one. I hadn't seen him yet. There's like a group of doctors, they kind of rotate out between a couple of different offices. And so he goes, okay, well, let me take a look at it. And all the swelling was gone out of my foot. All the swelling was gone. I wasn't in any pain. But, because they told me don't walk on it, I was not walking on it at all or using it. And so I didn't know, that had been healed. And so anyway, he comes back. He goes, well, hold on one second. I need to go look at something. So he left and he went and looked at my chart. And then he came back in and looked at the x-ray and he said, there's no fracture. And I'm like, I'm healed. I just yelled, I'm healed. Jesus healed me. And he like looked at me like, oh, okay. And I said, no, seriously. And he's like, well, you don't need the boot anymore. And he said, do you want me to schedule you for any kind of rehabilitation because you haven't been walking on it for 3 weeks? And I'm like, no, I'm healed. And I got up and I was like, walking on. And I'm like, I'm healed. And so then he goes, okay. And then he just kind of walked out. He wrote a prescription for physical therapy. I'm like, oh, ye of little faith. So anyway, this girl was walking down the hallway toward me. She worked there, and I think she's one of like the X-ray techs or whatever. And I looked at her, and I'm like, Jesus healed me, Jesus healed me. And she's like, great, that's awesome. And I'm walking out with my crutches because I had walked in with crutches and my boot on. My friend's out. I couldn't drive because it was my right foot. And so my friend's out waiting for me out in the out in the waiting room. And I came and the whole waiting room was full. And I'm like, who needs these? Because Jesus healed me. And she's like, praise the Lord. So we just had like church right there in the waiting room.
Did somebody get your crutches? Did you gift your Did you gift your crutches?
No, nobody wanted them. And so anyway, she's like, well, why do you still have your boot on? I'm like, because I didn't have another shoe. So I had to go to lunch with the boot on, but I was like walking on it. And then I got home and I had no swelling and no pain. No, I was walking on it. I had to kind of retrain my brain, like, Jonna, you're healed, you're fine. And I was like jumping up and down, and I went to church on Thursday and I came walking in and everybody had been praying for me there too. And all of y'all I know have been praying for me. And so I just want to let you know that Jehovah Rapha is still alive, still working. And yeah, I was telling the people at prayer night on Thursday, I said, I don't know why God doesn't heal everyone like in an instant, why I had to wait the 3 weeks. I know whenever he chooses to do something, it's always so for the greater glory, for his glory, and for the people involved so they can see the glory of God, the revealing of the glory of God. And so, but I don't know why some people don't receive their healing right away or never do. But all I know is that it's not that it's never. It's just you either get it in an instant. This is what the Bible shows. You get it in an instant healing, like the woman with the issue of blood who reached out to Jesus and the flow of blood was stopped instantly. It says in an instant. But then there were the three that had leprosy, and they turned, like Jesus spoke healing over them, but nothing had manifested yet. So they turned, and the word says that they were actually healed on their way. So some healings come on their way, and then others don't ever manifest on the earth, but they manifest on the other side. So when you go home to be with the Lord, you are completely healed, restored, given a new body, our spiritual body. And so or form, and yeah, so it was exciting. I was excited. And so I came in and everybody was like, woohoo. So we had a great time of prayer and worship. And I went to church that Sunday because everybody around me knew, like, I haven't been coming because I couldn't drive and I live way out. So some people offered and I'm like, nah, I mean, I live way out. So anyway, when I came in, I was like, I'm healed. I was like jumping up and down. I said, I hope you get out the way because I'm going to be worshiping really big this morning because I'm healed. I even brought my x-ray paper that said I had a fractured foot and when my fracture, like when I had the x-ray done. And I went to the associate pastor because he's kind of helping me transition into the whole Arkansas thing. And I know they were kind of bummed because, like, you know, that happened as soon as I had kind of signed on. And so, yeah. So anyway, he's like, okay, that's awesome. So anyway, it's good. Yeah, it was a really good praise, Erlene. Yes, because it was so hard. It was like the hardest 3 weeks, but it also taught me some things. Like, you need to have good friends around you that you can rely on. You also need to not be afraid to ask, like, for help. And I knew who my friends were. I knew who my friends were during that. You know, my neighbor, the sheriff, he came over, he sprayed my whole house for spiders because he knew I couldn't get out. And then he went above and beyond and not hurt. He was out mowing my lawn and weed whacking. So the Property Owners Association, they had sent out a letter to all the people who live on the lake saying, you know, it's spring, we need to spruce up our yards, everybody. And I was just like, I can't do anything. So anyway, I didn't tell him that. He just offered. He's like, hey, you know, I'm spraying my house for spiders. You want me to come over and spray yours? I'm like, yes, please. And then I heard the weed whacker going. I'm like, he is out there doing my yard. Bless him. The man works really hard, you know, being the sheriff, and he's got a young kid and wife. And so anyway, yeah,
That's so sweet.
that was a blessing for sure. So yeah, that's my praise report. Want to do it?
That's really awesome. It's incredible to get to
I know.
experience that and share it.
Right. I just wish I could have been there with you in the waiting room because that would have just made me like so happy and so like I would just be giggling because just hearing you say it just, I mean, all these people around you, I mean, I'm sure you made it people's day. Like,
I hope I did. I don't know. They kind of look like me, like I was like insane or whatever.
I mean,
like, you know, but I don't care because I know once I was in a lot of pain and then I wasn't. And once I couldn't walk and then I could. So,
well, right. And
yeah.
The other thing is you might have given them some faith that you could be healed.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I wanted to ask Hazel, because it looked like she was sticking her flowers on like little bits at a time. How did you do your card, Hazel?
Well, maybe I could be enlarged.
You can't. We can make you big.
Okay, I'm like, Lord, shrink me, and you're like, just kidding.
Make me big.
Make me big.
What I did off the bat was just use this foliage stencil. And then I used my pit pens to add a bit of dimension. And, you know, typically anyone who knows me knows I like to have at least 2 or 3 weeks worth of videos done and in the can, so to speak. And I realized I didn't have one done for tomorrow. So this morning I did a video sorting through some of my fussy cuts and small little embellishments, thinking I'm going to need something to decorate this vine. So these they're thicker than paper. I just took obviously the smallest ones out of there. Didn't really have enough of the same things to do all the way down. So I mixed things up with some berries. And so, yeah, these flowers and berries are all sitting on the surface of the paper. And the vine is just in the background.
Pretty.
I am having a
very
hard
pretty.
time hearing you guys because the it's kind of echoey and only hearing every second word. Glad to hear your story, Jonna. As I've been kind of listening and whatever, I found another page in this Jesus Calls that I think might be apropos for today. So I'll read that if you don't mind. And I guess we should also think about when we're ending. I know we started late, but
Yeah, we
I am leading you step by step through your life. Hold my hand in trusting dependence, letting me guide you through this day. Your future looks uncertain and feels flimsy, even precarious. That is how it should be. Secret things belong to the Lord, and future things are secret things. When you try to figure out the future, you are grasping at things that are mine. This, like any forms of worry, is an act of rebellion, doubting my promises to care for you. Whenever you find yourself worrying about the future, repent and return it to me. I will show you the next step forward, and the one after that, and the one after that. Relax and enjoy the journey in my presence, trusting me to open up the way before you as you go. I don't know which book it's in or which what day it was, but I did make a note on that day because it was like every time that we complain and every time that right here I used a bigger post-it. When you can criticize or complain, you are acting as if you think you could run the world better than I do. How's that for a revelation?
mm-hmm.
We need to be put in our place a lot of times, don't we?
For sure. For sure.
Well, I thought that complaining was sort of a human, just a fact of human condition. But honestly, when you think about it in that sense of the word, it's like, it's like second guessing the Lord, thinking that we know better. So it's a little bit of a smackdown in the sense that, if we're so arrogant as to think that we can do better, maybe we need a reminder.
No, I don't want to remind. I don't want to be hit.
By the way, ladies, those of you who are writing things that are resonating with me, I am adding to my card. Worry is not trusting him. And,
Very good point, Carolyn.
And then somebody else said, it was the 1 Peter. Oh, cast your anxieties on him because he cares for you.
Mm-hmm. We had that as one of our Bible journaling reset scriptures.
How many is this, ladies? How many have we done? 10? 11?
I think this was 8.
Yeah.
Only 8?
I thought we did more than that.
Not that I'm complaining, but how many times have I asked that we add the number to our artwork? I think that if Carol started it,
1,
and this would have been Carol's turn, that we have, this is our 8th, I think.
3.
Yeah, that's what I said.
4, 5, 6.
Thank you, Denley, for being here.
Working in another one.
Bye, Denley.
There's just a certain satisfaction I get in counting things.
We know. I think now you're like you're probably thinking they're just not putting it on there because they know I'm going to ask them to. Well, we're not. I promise.
Or maybe this is
Oh,
9
hi,
because
Vicky.
if we've gone through the cycle twice and then I started again. Um,
We had
so
the
last time was 8. And Hazel would have done 8, and I was supposed to do 9, but we flopped.
flipped. We
Flipped.
never flop.
So what is the verdict? Is this the 9th month?
Yeah, that's
Is that
what I
what
was
you're saying?
thinking. I think that's what it is because we've gone through the cycle twice plus me a third time, so that would be 9.
Yeah. All right. Well, I changed mine. I didn't even need to get the whiteout out. You guys said it so confidently. I was like, okay, 8 it is. I guess I better write it down. You know I don't know. I'm like, I have no idea. I'm just here for the party. I don't count. Oh no.
I thought that was me. I haven't been counting either.
Are we going to do a bit of a wind up because I have something that I wanted to offer the viewers.
This is you're in charge of this one, and so you're the boss. We're whatever you want.
We have an R.S. Smith joining us. Welcome.
Well, hello.
Welcome.
And Vicky's here too. Hi, Vicky.
Do you want to tell us your name so we don't have to call you R.S. Smith?
It's your undercover name.
Oh, yeah.
Super secret.
Yeah.
YouTube name.
Yeah, thanks. Go ahead, Hazel.
Oh,
Hi,
I was
Vicky.
just going to say that you'd think I was on commission the way I've been talking about these devotionals, but they truly have made a difference. I don't really want to mark up my books, so I'm adding post-its, and depending on the size of the post, it determines how important or how something resonated. Rita Sumrall from Mississippi.
Well, she must have joined because she heard us all talking about Mississippi. Oh, cool.
Where in Mississippi are you?
Near Memphis?
Yeah, exactly.
You can come to the party.
Yeah.
To the party.
If your ears were burning, that's because some of us are going to be in Memphis at the end of May, and it's going to be a little bit of a get together. Anyway, so as I've been going through these devotionals, I am obviously marking the pages that resonate. And I thought, oh, I wonder if the people in Bible journaling land have heard this or heard something, articulated in a certain way. Anyway, I put together a document in Canva that I would be happy to email to anybody who wants one. I just called it Words to Ponder, and I started this a while back. It would have been around Easter, so it's not very apparent, but the watermark kind of image at the back of the page is, of course, Christ's face and, crown of thorns and so on. So anyway, they're just different sort of little things that I think people might like to have. I don't know. The first one, when you can't sleep, don't count sheep, talk to the shepherd. Mr. Anonymous said that.
Mr. Anonymous.
We must leave the unknowable to the all-knowing one. He is listening and working things out his way. When you go to your knees, God will help you stand up to anything. Oh Lord, help me not to despise or oppose what I do not understand. And where there was somebody that the quote could be attributed to, I included that. If it was anonymous and I knew that for sure, then I said that. So anyway, this may not be life altering in any way, but certainly if anybody wants a copy of it, all you would have to do is write to me. And my address is on the screen there. So, and it's Hazel speaking.
That the Jesus Calling, I believe they have one for specifically for men, and they also have one for teenagers. And
yeah, they have a kids version
well,
too.
there were others.
Yeah. It is a really good one. I've read that one. But I'm kind of a one devotion time girl. Like I'll go through it and then I'm not going to reread it. Is anybody else like that, or is that weird?
That is very weird.
Then it would be typical for me. Like
I think that if you were to start a devotional today, April 26th, 2026, and were to read the same thing April 26th, 2027, you would not be the same person. So you would probably get something different out of it.
That's the Bible.
Right. Yeah, and you were right, but I just like to have, I'm like, oh, I need a new one, a fresh new year, So yes, I am weird, Hazel.
That was pulling your chain.
Yes,
there's a good one on here. I have lived to thank God that all my prayers have not been answered. Because, sometimes we want something and we pray for something, and that might have been the worst thing that could have happened to us. Because what do we know? We're not in charge.
Well, should we start wrapping it up probably, since we want all of you to enjoy your time for the rest of your Sunday with your family and friends or whomever or wherever you might be. I just want to thank you all for a great time, and thank you for all of you for being patient with us as we work through technology. And I just have to say, we did a lot of praying before we got on here because it was an absolute mess. And good Lord shine through, because we didn't have one time that one of us had to actually leave and come back on. And that has not happened to me in probably 4 lives that I've had. So, thank you for being patient, and thank you, ladies, for persevering when this was about to go south. I tell you.
I've got my friend texting me pictures of stuff he's out thrifting right now. And he's been texting me pictures of all his little finds, and I'm like, stop, hello, I'm in Bible study.
Pick me some of that stuff up.
Yeah, exactly. He's got my list. He has my list.
There you go. Well, thank you, everybody, and thank you, ladies, and we will see you. Oh, do we have a date, right? And I'm not going to remember on our
I don't know. I even forgot about the meeting tomorrow, so don't ask me.
I did too. So don't
it's May.
It's on my calendar.
May 24th, and it's Jana's turn.
May 24th, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Jana is the hostess with the mostest for that day, and we will see you there.
I have a giveaway too for that day. So
awesome. And also, if you haven't, just a little reminder, if you haven't subscribed to all of our channels, please take a moment. We would love it if you did. And you can hit the notification bells on our channel so you get to know, or when all of our content comes out, and certainly when we do our Bible journaling each month. So have a blessed day, and we will talk to you next month. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Great job, Hazel.
The Crafty Girls Create Retreat.